Inside the Michigan Militia tonight, we're taking you on a militia training mission. Since September 11th, the militia has changed its focus. Members are now training to take on terrorists and defend America. It's a popular message that has the militia's numbers growing. But is it a good idea? Tonight, you'll see exclusive video of a militia training camp as we investigate the Michigan militia and its new mission. This is a UPN 50 exclusive report, and it's coming up at 10:20. Okay, thanks, Jim. Now, armed and ready for action, the Michigan militia is back. The group, which gained national attention after the Oklahoma City bombing, has just elected a new commander, and it's taking on a new role, training to fight terrorists. Our Soraya Fidel got exclusive access to a militia training session, and she's here to show us what's going on. Soraya?
Well, Palace, armed with guns and fueled by patriotism, Michigan militia members tell me that since September 11th, they have a new mission: to survive a future terrorist attack and assist in homeland security if called upon. And tonight, we're giving you an exclusive look at how the militia is preparing for the battle.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
In the deep farmland of Bancroft, Michigan,
forward, march, arms at will.
Men and women are called to action. Dressed in military garb,
Boots, first aid kit.
armed with heavy gear, weapons in hand, they set out to train in the field.
Count twos, 1.
Their mission? Fighting terrorism, preparing for future attacks, and protecting against the new enemy.
This is where the Osama targets were last week. If you could tell, he was a very popular target. And still is.
These training sessions are a monthly event. It's where militia groups from all over the state come together to hone their skills.
Each group runs their group a little different than others. You know, some meet a lot, some don't. Some are a little more military, some are a little more laid back.
Lounge chair militia.
But they all have the same goal:
To help defend the people of this country against any threat, either foreign or domestic.
and defend themselves.
If you want to protect something that's yours, you're going to do what it takes to do it.
Many militia members feel there's been a long misconception of them as militant, anti-government fanatics. They tell us they're your average law-abiding citizen who have the right to bear arms.
We have people all walks of life, all different ages and professions. I am not anti-government. We are good people and we're professional, and you know, we don't act out of anger. We're just here as the militia has been for hundreds of years.
After the Oklahoma City bombing, many people left the organization. But since the September 11th terrorist attacks, the Michigan militia tells us there's been a resurgence. Membership is increasing. More people want to join the group.
I think it's great. I think every citizen should do anti-terrorist training.
And even though there's been no formal recognition from Washington, these men and women are big believers of anti-terrorist paramilitary trainings.
I believe in freedom. I believe in honor. I believe in doing what I can to protect the people of this country. And I'm proud to be an American, and I do what I can to serve this country.
But some people question the Michigan militia's new role. Even some militia members themselves say terrorism should not be the group's focus. Coming up at 11 on our sister station, 62 CBS, we'll take a closer look at the division terrorist training is creating in the militia. That's tonight at 11 on 62 CBS Eyewitness News. Now back to you.
This is 62 CBS Eyewitness News.
Well, this group, which gained national attention after the Oklahoma City bombing, has just elected a new commander. And tonight, the Michigan militia is taking on a new role, training to fight terrorists. But As always, they are not without controversy. Soraya Fidel has tonight's eye on the Michigan militia. Soraya?
Well, Michigan militia members strongly believe in self-defense and the right to bear arms. They tell us there's been a long misconception of them as anti-government fanatics, but they believe they're good neighbors and average law-abiding citizens. While they have the same goals, the issue of training is a dividing force. The Michigan militia is fighting terrorism. Today, members are preparing for future attacks, defending themselves, and protecting against the new enemy.
This is where the Osama targets were last week. If you could tell, he was a very popular target. And still is.
Dressed in military garb, armed with heavy gear, weapons in hand, they're called to action, training in the deep farmland of Bancroft, Michigan.
I think it's great. I think every citizen should do anti-terrorist training.
Many members say they're volunteers willing to assist in homeland security if called upon. They come from all walks of life and professions. Some even have a military background.
I am not anti-government. We are good people and we're professional, and you know, we don't act out of anger. We're just here as the militia has been for hundreds of years.
And even though there's been no formal recognition from Washington, these men and women are true believers of anti-terrorist paramilitary trainings.
I believe in freedom. I believe in honor. I believe in doing what I can to protect the people of this country. And I'm proud to be an American, and I do what I can to serve this country.
Some militia members question all the military garb and anti-terrorist trainings. They tell us education is the stronger form of training.
The anti-terrorism training that is being done in the woods is going to be totally non-effective.
Why?
Because the terrorists aren't going to attack in the woods.
Our Second Amendment keeps our country free.
Joe and Clara Pilchak have been Michigan militia members for years.
Men should have a copy of it, and women, and they should highlight it.
The St. Clair couple is also committed to the organization. They've spent countless hours mailing out brochures and militia literature.
The knowledge is extremely important, getting the word out.
The difference is they're not advocates of training sessions. They strongly believe in educating people about what the militia stands for.
We believe in the Constitution of the United States. We believe in upholding the rightful laws of the land.
We have a ton of personalities and different kind of people and how they think things should be done. Once again, each group's different.
Despite the differences and divisions among Michigan militia groups, the men and women who train out in the field feel education and military training are at the core of being effective militia members.
If there is an emergency in a perfect world, we're supposed to form up with our military and fight side by side with our soldiers, as it's been done, you know, throughout the years.
Now, training sessions are a monthly event. It's where militia groups from all over the state come together to hone their skills. Since September 11th, there's been a resurgence, and the Michigan militia tells me membership is increasing. More people seem to want to join the group. Back to you.
Thanks, Raya.
You're watching WXYZ 7. Now, Action News at 11 with Diana Lewis, Guy Gordon, Jerry Hodak with Doppler 7 Weather, and Sports with Don Shane.
We are suspicious of government, we are defiant of government, and we ought to be. We're Americans.
Tonight we'll take you inside the Michigan militia, find out how it has changed since the terrorist attacks in our special review, Glenn. You probably haven't heard about the Michigan militia in a while. It seemed to get lost in the woods after the Oklahoma City bombing. But in post-9/11 America, a new faction of the militia is emerging with different marching orders. And while the focus has changed for some, others believe terrorism is not the only threat to our freedom. Action News reporter Stephen Clark has the story.
This is not Afghanistan, Iraq, or Kuwait. And these men aren't special forces, Marines, or soldiers. This is a farmer's field in Bancroft, Michigan, and these guys are your neighbors.
I just want to let everyone know that we are good, average, law-abiding citizens who believe in freedom and believe in taking care of the people of this country.
If you don't recognize them by that description, you will certainly recognize their name, the Michigan Militia.
People, I guess, have a lot of misconception about the militia. The media hasn't done a very good job in painting us in a good light over the years.
Macomb County Commander Mike Wilkes has a point. The media had a field day reporting a tenuous tie between the Michigan militia and Oklahoma City bombers Tim McVeigh and Terry Nichols.
I know for a fact that McVeigh was never in the militia. Not at all. He went to one meeting, he mentioned a few things that we found disturbing, and he was asked to leave.
But when McVeigh's bomb went off in Oklahoma, it was the militia that was shown the door.
The breakup started following Oklahoma City.
Norm Olson is credited with founding the modern Michigan militia. He acknowledges their link to Timothy McVeigh shook up the movement.
A third of our people just quit altogether. When they saw the incident, the episode there at Oklahoma City, they realized that this wasn't about paintball in the woods on the weekend. You know, this is serious stuff.
And those who didn't quit?
Just for the safety and just to play it safe, we decided to keep doing what we're doing, but just to maintain a lower profile.
But then, an event big enough to flush the Michigan militia out of hiding.
He's our favorite. We like shooting him up.
The incident in 9/11 was an eye-opener. It was like, you know, now something has to be done. I felt I had to do something to protect myself, my family, my loved ones, my neighbors.
Lawrence Wartenberg joined the militia after September 11th. He's certainly not the only one to jump into a growing movement. The Macomb, Wayne Eaton County Brigade of the Michigan Militia meets in this farm field twice a month for training. Today, just a handful of members showed up, but on a good day, they claim more than 300 people will show up. Many of them represent an emerging new breed of militia.
We're here to help our nation. We're not here to hurt it. We're not here to overthrow the government.
If Lawrence Wartenberg represents the new militia,
we are suspicious of government, we are defiant of government, and we ought to be. We're Americans.
Then Norm Olson represents the old militia.
My friends, we have far more to worry about with George Bush and John Ashcroft and Tom Ridge and others. We have far more to worry about today than Osama bin Laden and the Al-Qaeda.
The various factions of the Michigan militia may be working off the same playbook, but they're clearly on different pages.
I've got no want to go out and shoot anybody. That's not me, you know, but I want to have the safe power to know that I know how to take care of myself if the need arises.
Out in the farm field, the new younger militia members set their sights on threats from beyond our borders.
This is the M14 rifle. This is one of the best battle rifles ever built.
While Norm Olson, sitting in his gun shop in northern Michigan, sees a far more sinister threat, the federal government.
There's nothing to worry about Americans being armed. Be far more frightened when the jackbooted thugs of the federal government come goose-stepping up your driveway. Be far more concerned about the tanks that roll in your neighborhood. Don't worry about the citizen militia. Just pray to God that they're there when the tyrants come.